I'm referred to as the big game hunter because I've been hunting down leaders and staff organizations for more than 40 years. Now, this is a video that's designed for those of you who are over 50 to remind you of something. Now, if you look at this face, you'll figure out that I'm over 50. Matter of fact, I'm over 60 at this point. And I clearly recognize that discrimination exists. And I'm also aware that those who discriminate often don't realize that they're discriminating. So this is true for age. Sometimes it's true for race. Sometimes it's true for national origin. But today I'm going to be dealing with age. Now, the thing I want to remind you of is that if you're turned down for a job, often it doesn't have to deal with age. Often it has to deal with skills. Often it has to deal with interview technique. It doesn't always deal with age. Now, I know it's very tempting that when you see the 19-year-old manager, I'm using a stereotype here just as readily as they might use a stereotype of you as 65. I'm 64 as of this video, by the way. That they might use a stereotype of you as part of their bias. But let's work with a 19-year-old manager interviewing you in your 50s or 60s for a position. And as soon as you see them, your jaw drops. Mentally, you go, oh, I'm not going to get this. And thus you don't deliver the goods. You don't try to impress them. Now, the reality is it's probably not going to be the 19-year-old manager unless, of course, you're interviewing for a greeter job at a gas station. But the more likely scenario is you're meeting a manager in your 30s and 40s, you're in your 50s or 60s. You see them, they look younger at you. You become concerned that they might discriminate, and then you start jumping through all sorts of hoops and don't act naturally and perform like you normally could. If they cover territory in the interview that you don't know, sometimes I've heard candidates talk about how they were biased, when in point of fact, they were actually trying to measure a particular skill that you had and whether you had that skill, and you didn't. And to me, that's a fair reason for being turned down. As it was when you were interviewing people and you listen to them talk about how they could learn what it was that you were looking for, and it didn't wash with you, it's not going to wash with them. You need to learn the things that in your market area firms look for, that hiring managers look for, and deliver the goods in your interview. And again, age discrimination definitely exists. No question about it. And you can't get fixated on the age of the hiring manager and basically resign yourself to being doomed in the interview. You have to win every interview. You have to demonstrate your knowledge and experience. You can't have attitude. Hey, I did this 20 years ago. That kind of attitude that suggests to them that you're going to be a pain in their rear throughout because you're a know-it-all. Again, for them, it's a new situation. For you, you may have done it 5 times before. You just demonstrate that you can handle it with ease and grace. And if you get to the age question about how everyone in their organization is much younger, you can smile and say, at my age, that's pretty common. But what I learned a long time ago is to be supportive of people and their growth and their learning, to share what I know. And if they don't want to hear it, that's okay too. People go through their own process. I'm Jeff Altman. Hope you found this helpful. Visit my website, which is thebiggamehunter.us. There's a lot more there you can watch, listen to, or read. It'll help you find work more quickly. And if we're not connected on LinkedIn, send a connection request at linkedin.com/IN/thebiggamehunter. I accept connection requests from people worldwide, except if you look like a spammer or scammer, except if you're a third-party recruiter. Finally, sometimes people need advice. They need to talk to someone who can help them. And I'm not talking therapist here, even though I'm trained as one. I'm talking about someone to answer their job search questions. You've been through it 1,000,000 times, and you've also been turned down 1,000,000 times. Do you want to go through that again? Let me answer your job search questions. Maybe you need a makeover done. You can find out about the makeovers I do at my website. Maybe you need someone to look at your LinkedIn profile. After all, these days, when you're hunting for a position, you use a LinkedIn profile, we use a resume. If you want to be hunted for a position, your LinkedIn profile needs to be exquisite. Let me critique your LinkedIn profile. Let me critique your resume. You can find out about all my services at the website. Again, that's thebiggamehunter.us. Hope you have a great day. Take care.